right here. I'm going to get started by shaking. Again, I've been talking about this for the last several days, but this is going to sort of balance me out. I kind of would rather go to sleep, but instead of going to sleep, I'm going to get myself sort of back up a little bit, do just a little bit of strengthening around the neck, and then some stretching, and then I'll call it an evening. So I'm waiting for a feeling. Hey, Chesh. I think that's good. I had some tension and I was trying to relax my chest and make sure my breathing's all the way down into my belly. I really want to be stimulating my vagus nerve. Now, that's for relaxation and balancing. I'm going to do some strengthening. This is going to be light strengthening. If you have neck issues, this is an exercise that you can do. And I'm just going to be pushing in 5 directions. So I'm going to hold my head on either side, front, back, and top, and I'm going to hold it for 30 seconds. And I'm just going to do one round of that tonight. And to do that, I better take my glasses off. You don't have to press very hard, but just put a little bit of pressure and build up over time. And you'll know if you're doing too much. So here we go. I've got my left shoulder relaxed. I'm trying to push with just my head, relax the rest of my body, just remain erect or upright. I'm pushing a little bit with my hand, hopefully an equal amount to my head. I think so long as I'm not moving, that's the case. Now I do notice some, and I'll relax there. So I do also notice some buildup of sort of pressure right here on the back, and then that's going to relax a little bit. But I'll be working on stretching the shoulder. So that's side one. Okay, next side. All right. We do front next. Pressing a bit too hard, getting a little bit of tension, a bit too much tension in the back of my head. So I'm relaxing it back. I'm still pushing, but not quite as much. You got to go for the feel. Okay, relax that. And one more time. Well, actually, this is the penultimate time. Penultimate sounds like more than ultimate, but it's actually one less than. Christmas Eve is penultimate Christmas. Yeah, not exactly, but it's the day before Christmas anyway. And then I'm going to say that post ultimate would then be Boxing Day. Okay, last one. It's a bit strange, but watch my head here. I'm going to try to keep my shoulders in the same place, but I'm moving my thoracic spine is going a little bit forward and up and down a little bit. So you can extend your thoracic spine a little bit. So what I'm going to do, and we do this in Tai Chi when we're working on the second bow. The second bow, going from basically the pelvic floor all the way up to the fontanelle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to push down on my head and then push up with my head. Actually, I'm gonna reset this. No, I'm not going to reset that here. I want to do this symmetrically because I can feel some muscle tension build up. Okay, so this is getting now on the back of my neck, shoulders. This is nice. I'm dropping my shoulders as I do this and hold this a little bit longer. Okay, ooh, okay. I'm going to try something unscripted. None of this is scripted. What am I saying? But I'm going to try this in a standing position. I'm going to work on Wu Chi for a second. I'm going to do this from the side first. And then what I'm going to do after Wu Chi, I'm going to work on the second bow of Tai Chi. So actually, okay, the first bow, your legs. So to get to the first bow, feet parallel, knees slightly bent. And then I want to push my sacrum down and hopefully bring my pelvis. The front of my pelvis most likely needs to come up a little bit to get it level. All right. When you're doing this, what you're actually doing is you're engaging your ligaments. Now, if I additionally literally grip with my toes and then the balls of my feet and the heels, so now what I've got is I've got a good connection to the floor and I've engaged my ligaments here. So now what I'm going to do with my first bow set, I'm going to extend my spine up. And when I do that, it tends to bring my chin back. But now I'm going to do this a little bit differently. I'm going to try to maintain the first bow while pressing and see what this does. That's hitting the middle of the back. Now I'm really tucking. I can tell I'm tucking because I can feel additional pressure in my heels. This is hard to talk and breathe at the same time. I'm almost okay. Feels this is like engaging the entire spine. Oh, okay. Need to come out of that really slow. I'm going to do that again sometime. That's really good. Whew, but now that I've done that, I was planning on doing this next thing anyway. I'm going to uh, allow the spine to sort of relax in an inversion. I'm going to eventually get the core strength to do this with some grace. Okay. Just go ahead and use the wall. This adds additional challenge. You're a little bit close there, buddy. Let me curl up. Well, that certainly didn't clear my sinuses. Okay. Now, that's a whole bunch of up and down stuff. So now I'm going to twist my spine. I'm not really exactly working my neck directly, but I'm doing stuff around the neck. But I'm going to, with the cat here, I'll just sort of stand in place, feet a little bit hip wider than hip width apart. And I'm going to tuck my tailbone. Not tuck them. I'm going to push my sacrum down and tuck under a little bit. And then I'm going to keep looking forward as I twist my torso from side to side. Okay, now I'm going to twist my spine by moving my waist, hip area opposite my shoulders while keeping my head looking forward. Okay, there we go, Kitty. So I've warmed up my spine. My entire spine feels activated, and I've been twisting it, in fact, in opposite directions. And sort of when you think about wringing a towel, if you really want to get a towel dry, you can squeeze the towel, but if you actually wring the towel, it's going to do a little bit more in terms of getting stuff moving, and that's what I'm doing by doing that. If you want something more gentle, of course, circle walking will work just as well. All right. So for neck theme stuff tonight, haven't really picked. Let's go ahead based on what I'm feeling right now. Spine is. Let's see. I'm going to start with classic wide dog. Now I'm going to do this one for. Let's try that one. And let me see. These socks happen to not slide too badly. I'll do this one from the side. I say that and my socks start sliding. I'm almost tempted just to go into side splits because that's where I'm going right now. Not that I can actually do side splits. Oh, come on. Oh, that's really good right there. Damn it, Jess, don't do that. This has nothing to do with neck stretching. All right. That's not what I'm planning on doing tonight. There we go. That wasn't very graceful at all, but whatever. Even though I really didn't hold that at all, that wasn't really long enough to do any kind of lasting change. I still feel okay. Let my hips know Something's happening. Oh, good, you moved. Ha, that wasn't my plan, but I'll work with what you give me, Chesh. All right, now my feet won't slide. Back to plan A. All right, I've got my legs pretty wide. This is probably 2.5 times. Well, no, this is 1.5 times the mat width side. You can play with how far your legs are. You can certainly go wider or narrower. I'm trying to get this pose to target here. People hold tension here all the time. And in fact, when I was doing a lot of the pushing up, that's where I was feeling it. When I was pushing on my left side, I felt tension here. When I was pushing on my right side, same thing, opposite. I felt it over here. And so this pose is going to directly address the tight areas here, maybe. The problem for me is I have to have my hands elevated to make it work. If my hands are on the ground, I get a great hamstring stretch, get nothing in the shoulders. If I raise my hands that high, works well. And sometimes you want a hamstring stretch. That's great. This is a perfectly good thing, but I have lots of other things that stretch hamstrings. Okay. So I've already got about the right amount of pressure between my shoulder blades, but it's a little bit high. It's just mostly at the top. I want to get it, move it back a little bit. There we go. Now I'm going to let go, see if I can hold this. I was feeling it in my shoulders, now on the back, but about here. And then as I made the adjustment, it moved down to about here, not quite to my solar plexus, above my solar plexus, but that's fine because that gets most of the breastbone. And I want to have it feel like my entire breastbone is falling to the ground. And if you do that, then that will most likely get your trapezius muscles involved. And it was releasing my trapezius muscles that ultimately allowed me to turn my head side to side when I'm driving instead of having to try to turn my shoulders. It's amazing what happens when your muscles lock up and you just get used to it. And then all of a sudden they become unlocked. There, that's nice. Part of the reason why I wanted to shake earlier was there was tension in my chest, and that's most likely my intercostal muscles, and that's from all the frantic running around I was doing just before I started to stretch or started this little workout. So by shaking, I was able to sort of clear stuff and get them to relax. And I mentioned that because it occurs to me I'm able to sort of relax my entire chest much more easily now. And had I not shaken or shook at the beginning, I suspect it would have been longer into the pose or not at all before I would get to the point where I'm able to sort of relax like this. And it's when you relax and the muscles are being stretched by gravity that lasting change can happen. Because stretching is the opposite of strength. They use the same muscle fibers in the opposite directions. It's as great of a physical metaphor for yin and yang as anything you can come up with as far as I'm concerned. I'll stop beeping in a second. I mean, I've got it just perfectly right now, hitting it. I can imagine sort of a triangle, actually more like a diamond though. It's asymmetrical between my shoulder blades, and then the top half of the diamond is a little bit higher. I'd say a 1-to-4 ratio. No, 2-to-5. I'm gonna come out. Oh, I'm really. Oh man, I gotta be really careful here. I'm really. Oh yeah, I'm really deep in, so I cannot allow my back to get back into position quickly. Must go slow. As long as I go slow, I'll be fine. But I really stretched my muscles in a way that is exactly the opposite of what we do all day long, sit. Now, I don't sit all day long, but I sit a lot. But I do this kind of stuff to counteract it. But even still, oof, yikes. Okay, I'm going to do a counter to that. And it's simply, oh man, yeah. Actually, first of all, turtleback, asymmetrical, right on top, left on top, and vice versa. Okay, now, hands behind my back. If you can't get your hands together, and there was a time in 2015 where I couldn't even do this, then use a towel or a yoga strap. Okay, well, that's enough stuff with my spine. It needs a break. So now I'm going to go to the floor to pet the kitty. Oh, come on. All right. Oh, I'm sorry. Didn't mean to do that to you. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and get my toes stretched, turned under here, and also the arches of my feet. I'm doing this for two reasons, or actually three reasons. One, I want my toes to be bendy. Um, and I really mean that because you really can grip with your feet. You can. It makes a huge difference if you're in balance, especially if I was just doing some Tai Chi today in the park barefoot and barefoot in the park. and and I was literally grabbing the ground with my feet, my toes. So this helps that. Second, ankle, getting that dorsiflexion. So this is really basically forcing my ankle all the way back. And then if I point them and sit down on them, I'll get plantar flexion. So I'm getting full extension in forward and back. And I'm going to show you another thing you can try. So when I was younger, actually, okay, I roll out my ankles all the time. Well, not all the time, but I used to do it all the time. I still do it occasionally. In the past, it hurt a lot. And now if I roll out my ankle, it's just nothing happens because I built up the ligaments and tendons and the muscles through balance practice and stretch practice. I didn't set a timer, did I? That's fine. Chest, you're just almost out of reach in terms of ace. Let me see. Can I do this? There we go. Oh man, now it's really hitting my toes. Ooh, yeah, my toes are now stretched a little bit. Just a couple minutes. And then I'm going to point them, plantar flexion. Occurs to me I should have done the other thing I'm thinking of first because it requires standing. All right, now there's one other kind of ankle stretch you can do. Oh man, my legs are sore. And I'm going to use the wall for support. You may not need this, but I'm going to take one foot. Actually, I'll show this a little bit closer to the camera, and then I'll do this. Okay. And the mat is going to make it a little more difficult. So, Katie. Oh, sorry. There. Oh, I didn't mean to make you move, buddy. Okay, so I'm going to take my one foot. So I'll take my right foot. I'm going to point it out 45 degrees. Take my left foot, step a little bit forward, and then I'm going to go on the side of the foot. I'm actually going to put pressure, a little bit of pressure there. Not too much. Over time, you can build it up. I mean, I can put quite a bit of pressure now, quite a bit of weight. But when I started, I could hardly do this. But I can. This is a good exercise for strengthening the ankle in a way you normally wouldn't want to do. But it's relatively safe. You could use a wall for balance. But another thing you can do to extend this is you take the hand is the foot that is forward. You take the hand and put it behind you. Maybe you put it on the spine. Maybe bring it up the spine. Whatever. Maybe bring it over to the other side. Take my other hand, lift it up, point it down, and I'm going to look over my shoulder, and then I'm going to keep twisting, and I'm going to look behind myself. Now, when you twist, so I'm twisting counterclockwise, or maybe I'm twisting to the left. And so I'm going to lean opposite the direction I'm twisting. So I'm going to lean to the right to straighten the tendency in a twist for you to lean. Okay, and then I'm going to come back slowly. Okay, feet parallel, rotate out the left foot now. It's asymmetrical. There's two sides. Right foot forward. I'm on the outside edge of my right foot. Turned out. And again, I can now put pressure on this, but I don't want to put too much, but you want to build that up over time. My right foot's forward. Take my right hand, put it behind my back. I'm going to go maybe up the spine. Left hand goes up, down. I can't touch them, but I'm intending for them to touch. And then I'm going to look around. And then since I'm turning now to my right, I'm going to lean to the left to counteract the tendency that you lean a little bit when you twist. So that's a really good spinal twist. And I just said I wasn't going to do any more spinal stuff, but that's relatively. It's a tight spin, but you're holding it. It's not really too energetic. I would still say it's active, so it's yang, but it's a low yang as opposed to the end of that last stretch I did. All right. I think that's enough for tonight because I need to get to bed. But good night.